Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my studio. This is Paint with Lovejoy. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. And if you've been here for a few videos, thank you so much for your support and checking out the videos and painting at home. So in today's painting, we're going to be focusing on Gustav Klimt and some of his iconic paintings. We're not going to be using the gold leaf that he used in his, but we'll be mixing our acrylic paint to kind of come close to that gold color that he was known for. But in this video, in the description box below, you're going to see a link to a supply kit, and those are all the tools and the paint colors that you need for this particular video. So grab any extra supplies that you need and then pick up the video for the painting portion. Another thing that you're going to see in the description box below is a link to a traceable. And a traceable is a way for my beginner painters to get their initial image on their canvas before they start painting. And it takes out some of that frustration of trying to draw, and you can focus more on painting. With the traceable, you're also going to see a link in the description box for a video on how to transfer your traceable. So check out both of those. And once you have a few paintings under your belt and you're a little bit more comfortable with the process, jump over to my online school, Paint with Lovejoy, and check out my Paint Your Pet class. And it is geared towards first-time and beginner painters, and you'll be focusing on the value scale of your pet's fur. And when you paint something you care about, you actually put more energy into it, and you're going to learn more about the process. So when you're ready to take your skills to the next level, check that out. So with this video and any video that I teach, you are more than welcome to switch out colors, change things, make the painting your own. I'm just proud of you for stepping out of your comfort zone and painting at home. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the painting process. Alright guys, this is going to be another fun painting, so grab your supplies, head on over to where you have your setup, and as always, make sure you take your progress photos. Now, once you have your traceable transferred to your surface, you do not have to do what I have on the video. I outlined mine with a Sharpie marker for those of you at home that are going to pause the video and draw what you see. So, with this background, I am actually using the knife, the palette knife. You do not have to use the knife unless you want to. And if you want to use the knife but you don't have a palette knife, you can use an old credit card or something that basically has kind of a stiff edge that you can just scrape with. And we are using the raw sienna direct by itself and just scraping it on there. I am applying a decent amount of pressure to the knife. And as you're doing this, whether you're using the brush or the knife, feel free to rotate the canvas as needed to make it easier to make some of these directions or fill up the space. So I'm going to keep mine in the same orientation just because I'm filming the video. So you do want to wipe off the knife or clean your brush really good. We're going to go in with green paint and kind of scraping in the base that the lovers are standing or kneeling on. And if you are using a brush, you can actually do a mixture of yellow and green and kind of fill in the space, or you can follow along with the same layers that I'm doing on the video. With any of my videos, you have full permission to switch up and change colors and kind of just make the painting your own. So here I have switched into the medium flat brush. We're taking that direct yellow, getting our base on there. Klimt used a lot of gold leaf in his work, and since we're using acrylic paint and not gold leaf, unless you actually have gold paint that you're using, we're just going to have to kind of give the illusion that it's going to be a bright, colorful area with the yellow, and then with the yellow and raw sienna. So you can see here we're mixing that yellow and raw sienna, going a little bit lighter, added a touch more yellow to it, but we want there to be a difference between what the woman is wearing and kind of the cloak or the shawl that the man has draped around him, or around both of them. Now, as we go through this process, if you need to switch brushes and use the pointy brush where I'm using the medium flat brush, feel free to switch up with what you need. Now, a good place to pause the video and take your progress photo. We're going to make kind of a skin tone for these two characters, two people. And I pulled that white aside, and I actually grabbed a little bit of that raw sienna and yellow mixture just to kind of warm it up. Now, if you want to change the skin tone to a different shade, go right ahead. You can add more raw sienna to be a little more tan. You can do white and red for a light pink color. And for darker skin tones, you can start with that raw sienna, and you can either add the burnt sienna or even a touch of black. But just kind of play with the shades, with the colors to get to the shade that you want. Now here, whatever mixture you used, add a touch more black to it to go a little darker. And we're going to place some shadows on here. Now as we do this, it does not have to be exact, so I want you to just observe the place where I put each of these, the shadow area. And then you saw that I wiped the brush off and just went back with light pressure between the two colors. And in many of my other videos on my YouTube channel, we'll get a little bit more into the concept of the wet on wet blending compared to this. All right, so now we're going for the light raw sienna. So we're going to start with white, add a touch of the raw sienna and a touch of yellow. We're going to get the neck in here for the gentleman and his skin tone, and then we'll get the hair on there a little bit darker. All right, and if you're doing this and you're holding your breath, take a big inhale, relax, laugh at yourself. I'm really proud of you for painting at home. Try not to take yourself too seriously. Here you can see where I added some raw sienna to that mixture. This is our shadow value. So kind of place it where you see that I place it. So there's not a huge space of it. Wipe your brush off, and then you can just kind of blend it together. And sometimes just using little overlapping dot marks or little dashes helps with that blending. For her hair, we are using the direct burnt sienna, and then we're going to go a little bit darker with the burnt sienna and black for the hair on the gentleman. Again, full permission to switch out colors to make this couple more unique to what you might have in mind. And saw that I grabbed just a little touch of black to throw into the hair and give a bit more of a shadow element. And I forgot a spot with the yellow, so if you do need to go back to any area, your entire canvas should be filled with paint at this point. So if you need to go back and fill some areas in, go ahead and grab the appropriate color. So for this, we are going back to the knife and scraping on the black. And this is effective more for the knife method. So if you went with the brush application, skip this step. If you're using the knife, I want you to have a good amount of pressure because we do want some of the raw sienna to shine through the black layer that we're putting on here. And because we're using student grade paint, it's a bit on the transparent side, so that is what allows for the underneath color to kind of shine through. And it's just kind of a little play on color theory that we change the way that we interpret this color based on putting the darker color on top of it, and then we will come in later and put the raw sienna back on top. And this just kind of creates a nice texture. Again, if you do not want to use the knife at all, you do not have to. And we're doing the same thing in the grass, which is that direct yellow. And you can go back with the green, and here you can actually do a little bit of blending. So if you did the brush for your background, you can mimic these steps right here with the yellow and the green. So I did let the painting dry because I didn't want the mixing to happen. And this is kind of nice that you can see that raw sienna. You can see places where it's a little bit thicker paint, and then you can also see where it's a little more transparent, allowing the darker colors underneath to show through with this really nice texture. This is also a very stress relieving painting application. So scrape away anything that has irritated you this week or this month or this year. Just scrape it away and you'll feel a little bit better afterwards. Again, rotate the canvas as needed. And those of you that are using the brush, you would be skipping this step. If you need to, you can do your second layer, and I would use the raw sienna and yellow mixture, so that way it kind of keeps a bit closer to the gold leaf of the original painting. All right, good place to pause the video, take your progress photo. Hopefully you've been taking your photos along the way. Now we're using the pointy brush and we're going to start putting the details on top of this painting. And because my videos are geared towards first-time and beginner painters, I simplify these paintings quite a bit. So I do recommend that you can either follow along with this video and just mimic what you see and strengthen your power of observation as you paint this, or Google Klimt's The Kiss and look at the original and observe what you see on the original and apply that to your painting. Whether you're looking at the original or you're going with my video, you are still strengthening your power of observation, and that is a core foundational art skill. So just no matter which direction you go, it is a good skill to kind of hone in on. And again, as you're watching this, you're just observing the place that each of these shapes are going, the shape that it is. You know, right now it's rectangles, later it will be circles, and just mimicking that on your canvas as you go along. And I'm really proud of you for painting at home. This is awesome. It's growing nicely and more people are painting and realizing that while you paint, you know, the rest of the world ceases to exist for a little bit. And you're so focused on your canvas or your creation that, you know, a few hours pass and you didn't even realize it was that long. So it's healthy to have these outlets in this stressful world. So even if yours ends up not being full-on painting, but maybe it's another creative aspect, keep trying different things and keep engaging in creative, healthy outlets. All right, so now we're going to move to medium gray, and that is, usually I start with the white and then add the black, but because I already had the black on the brush, just kind of made a new pile and then added the white into it. So it doesn't matter which direction that you start. Again, just kind of placing these in areas, or you are referencing the original old master painting. If you are finding that your brush is shaky as you go to apply each of these brush strokes, that means you're holding your breath. So exhale as you touch the brush to the canvas, and that will make your process a lot easier, and it'll mean you're breathing again. All right, and if you need to make your color a second or third time, doesn't have to be the exact same shade. And now we're going to be moving into a light gray. And your grays may be a shade or two darker or lighter than what I have. Just as long as you're in the general range, it does not have to be exactly what I am painting. You're just using this as a base for your own process. All right, so we're going to go back to the yellow and raw sienna. And again, adding the decorations on the cloak. And anywhere else you may be inclined to add this. All right, pause the video. We're going to move into a few other colors. Again, you can follow along with the video or you can reference the original painting. So here we're using medium teal, starting with the white, adding a touch of the teal. And again, your shade may be a little bit lighter or darker than mine. If you don't have teal, you can skip this and you can use green, or you could even use blue. So now we're moving on to the dress for the woman, and we're going to lay these base of circles on there, and then we'll put some details on top of it. And as you go through the video, feel free to pause the video as needed, work on what you need to, and then kind of resume the video at your own pace. All right, going back to the raw sienna, we are using kind of light pressure with this and just kind of creating a slight visual texture on the dress. So as you're working with the brush, I want you to treat the brush kind of like a pencil. So you're using just the tip of the brush. You can even hold it perpendicular to the canvas. That might help make it a little bit easier. And we're just doing these either arcs or circles, however you're viewing them, but just again, just kind of creating some texture on the base of our yellow color. If you are referencing the original, feel free to observe the color and the kind of more distinct shapes that you'll see on the original painting. All right, so now we're going to use the red. We've got some flowers inside these circles, and literally we're just making dots, so it doesn't have to be an exact representation of the flowers. And we're still using that small pointy brush and just kind of touching the brush to the surface to create each of the circles. The more that you paint, the more you're going to find your own comfort level with holding the brush, with mixing your paint, and just with kind of the whole process in general. So that's why this is one of those things that just gets better with more practice. So now we're moving on to light pink, and the red's pretty intense, so I just kind of scraped off the red on my brush and then brought some white over. And again, feel free to adjust as needed. Your pink may be a little darker or lighter than what I'm using. And now we're literally just making little dots or little blobs. These are the flowers that are in there. And again, if you want to reference the original and go closer to the colors that they use and the shapes, go right ahead and do that. No matter what you follow, whether it's this video or the original, please email me photos of what you paint. I really enjoy seeing those. All right, and moved on to the red, just like you saw, the red and the pink. I'm going to do the same thing with light blue, and then we'll go in with blue. So to make your light blue, start with the white. Small amount of blue goes a long way. And again, just kind of slapping the paint on there, making these dots, these blobs. For my first time painters, it is very comforting to say I'm painting a blob, and that way it kind of takes the pressure off of something being exact. And by the time you are finished painting all your blobs, together they actually create what we call pointillism. And as you step away from your painting, you observe the final image or the actual image from a distance. All right, so same thing with the blue. Just creating these dots, overlapping, observing the placement of where they are going, and then mimicking it on your canvas. I highly recommend that everybody find creative outlets on a regular basis. The world has enough mean and stressed out people. I want some more relaxed and happy people in the world. And creativity is definitely an avenue to help you get there. All right, we're going to move on to yellow, and I would recommend that you let your paint dry before you do the yellow, just so it doesn't mix with the colors underneath. And based on the original, these yellow and white flowers that we'll be doing next were kind of I guess almost hanging down in a nice kind of linear fashion in the original painting. So again, even if you follow this video, go back and look at Google the original image and just kind of notice the comparison between the two. And if you paint this and let it sit for a while and then look at the original and realize you want to add more to it, go right ahead. Acrylic paint is awesome that way, that you can just layer your paint on top of it. Again, remember to breathe. You're doing a great job. If you are referencing the original and actually want to put the gold leaf on there, there are a lot of craft stores that make it affordable to do a gold leaf transfer. So explore that option and go for it if you feel inclined. All right, so now we're going to do yellow and green. I am going to hang out a bit more on the yellow side, so it's a bit brighter spring green. And I believe we have, there was a flower headdress that both of these were wearing. So just kind of putting little dots of the illusion, the hint that they have flowers in their hair. Same as we move into the white. And you may notice every couple of brush strokes, I want you to grab more paint, so that way you're actually applying paint to the canvas and not just getting in a groove of making these dots, but not actually adding anything. All right, and anything that you want to add, I believe as I was looking at the original, I realized there was a lot more black rectangles and squares and stuff. So fill up whatever you need to do for your painting. And if you go in your own direction and do something different, go right ahead and just add all the elements, all the details that you want for this painting. I'm really proud of you guys for painting at home. Don't wait too long to do your next painting. And until next time, cheers. Hey guys, I hope your paintings turned out really nice, and I hope you enjoyed the process of painting. I'm really proud of you for painting at home, so great job. As you're uploading your pictures to social media, please tag me at paintwithlovejoy or hashtag paintwithlovejoy, or even email me your pictures, paintwithlovejoy@gmail.com. It's through your guys' pictures and feedback. I love seeing those in the morning, but when I post your pictures to social media, it actually encourages so many other people to give painting a try. So you guys are invaluable at spreading the word and getting more people to try painting. So share your works. Let me see your pictures. Let me post them on social media. But I want more and more people painting for the stress relieving benefits alone. So please spread the word. If you want me to paint something specific in the future, you have comments or questions, please leave a comment in the description box below, and I do my best to respond to all the comments and questions. So until next time, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I look forward to painting with you in the future. Cheers.